Week 3 of the stay-at-home orders. And what I missed the most is going to movies. It was the first thing I fell in love with when I moved to Portland 9 years ago. There's all these cute little vintage theaters, $4 tickets, and you can get pizza and beer while you're watching a movie. So I go to movies a lot, usually alone. And in fact, I used to live, this was 5-6 years ago, just 3 blocks from the Laurelhurst Theater. And one night I was walking over there. It was November, dark, cold. I was walking fast and wearing my long red Patagonia jacket. And I saw a figure under the trees, and a deep, manly voice called out to me, "Hey, you want a copy of Street Roots?" Street Roots is the little newspaper that homeless people sell, buy for 50 cents and sell for $1. So I turned because I like to help the homeless if I'm not too busy. And besides, he was attractive. He was tall, with nicely tousled hair and a little dimple, black glasses, sparkly eyes. And he engaged me in this animated conversation about how OPB was going to do a documentary on him, about how his project of donating clothes to the homeless vets. And I said, "Hey, I just went to an art show featuring homeless vets." Well, while we were talking, I saw a car come up behind him trying to park. He's standing in the street, so I warned him. And he turns around, sees the car, and goes, "Thank you very much, motherfucker." Okay, he's crazy, charismatic, no money, just my type. He said he was going to the movies, and I said, "Hey, me too." So we walked together, and when we got to the ticket booth, all I had was a 20. So I bought my ticket, and then I had $1 that I could give him. But it became apparent that he did not have enough money to get in. For a second, I thought of getting him a ticket, but no. I went ahead in and got myself all cozy and settled in the little dark theater. And well into the trailers, here he comes down the aisle. "Rhonda, Rhonda," which is almost my name. I hesitated, but I raised my hand and called him over. So he plopped down next to me happily and took off his coat and asked me to put it on the chair next to me. And I said, "No, there's a woman there and she's coming back." So he takes his jacket, he holds it up over his head, and then he just hurls it back. I didn't dare look behind, but I did look at him, aghast. And he said, "Hey, don't sweat the small stuff." The movie started, and so did his talking. To me, to the guy on the other side of him, to the screen. The movie was Chef. So at one point he yelled, "Man up, Tony!" It was a casual movie, so I hoped that the people around us weren't too bothered. After the movie, we sat in the lobby and he bought a pitcher of beer. I got some popcorn and we sat across from each other at the little table and talked. And he told me that he had been a war photographer. Desert Storm, Falklands, Afghanistan. He had photographed dead people for 8 years. He had a female comrade who had stood up in a doorway and taken a barrage of bullets. He had nominated her for a congressional medal. He had a bullet in his knee and a plate in his chest and an 8-year-old daughter who he hoped he could see soon. He pulled out a Ziploc baggie with a photo album in it, black and white photos that he'd taken. He said some of them were during his PTSD phase, so maybe they weren't so great. He told me I was a handsome thing, and threw popcorn over his shoulder, which alarmed the woman behind us. In fact, whenever he got excited, he would throw popcorn. So there was a lot of popcorn on the floor, and I gave him that look again. So he got down on his knees and he started vigorously sweeping up all the popcorn with his arms under the table. And when people walked by, he looked up at them and said, "I work here now." He told me he bought me a ticket for the next movie. I never watch 2 movies in a row. I just can't sit still that long. But I was having such a good time. I said, sure. The second movie was not so forgiving, called, ironically, Listen Up, Philip. He started right in again, talking into my ear. Now he had a container of Parmesan that he was pouring into a salad he'd found on the back of the toilet, pouring into my hand. We held hands after I shook the Parmesan out. He put his arm around me. He kept checking in with me. He was really a very considerate date. Are you okay? Do you like this? Are you having a good time? He told me how much he liked me. I reached up and caressed his jaw, the soft beard there. It was lovely. But he would not stop talking. Now I really was worried about the people around us. But I couldn't control this guy. I couldn't discourage him even. I was looking straight at the screen. I said, I'm just trying to watch the movie. He was looking straight at me. I'm watching the movie too, but I can multitask. I said, I'm just trying to hear the movie. And he goes, oh, if only I would stop talking. Afterwards, we sat out in the lobby. He finished his salad, and I wondered where he would go. He said if he missed his bus, he would just go to Providence Hospital and act crazy, and they would let him in for the night. He went into the bathroom to brush his teeth, and I waited for him out front. We hugged, and then he ran across the street and caught his bus, and I walked home. So, at the end of the night, 2 lonely people made a human connection, had some laughs, a little touch, no harm done. Unless you were there that night trying to watch the movie, and if so, let this be my public apology. Thank you.